Hey everyone, I'm back again with a new video. I just started my channel, so there are a few videos out there, but a couple of months ago when I didn't start my channel yet, excuse me, when I didn't start my channel yet, there was this tag going around on Tarot Tube, and it was the only one that I was actually like, oh, I wish I had a channel so I could respond. Even though it's already been like, well, really some months ago, I think 6 or 7 maybe even. It was the tag of Miss Kelly from the Truth and Story Irreplaceable Decks. And now that I have a channel, I was like, well, it might be an oldie, but it's still a goodie. So I'm gonna address this tag because I love the way she talked about the parameters, so to speak, you know, around what she meant with irreplaceable decks. I wanted to start with, well, one of my own, because I think she made a great point, right, when she talked about it in her video. Yeah, these decks, the decks that she made were irreplaceable to her because, well, she made them for a reason, yes, because they fill this certain void that, well, we could not get, whether it's in mass market or even indie. So making that deck was really to fill that void, that it would work for us. So that means, yeah, these decks, yeah, we cannot replace. No matter what we put next to it, it will never be the same. It will never give that same energy. It will never give that same feeling. And I wanted to start, well, with my Bob Marley deck, but a little bit of a backstory in that sense, because I also made a book. I was looking for a long time for a really good book with all of his lyrics. If I sing them, I can sing them from the first line till the last line. But some of these words have so much power behind them, for me, you know. I don't think only for me. So for me, it was really a little bit like the book said, poetry in the lyrics of Bob Marley. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and I could not find a good book that really had like all his works put together, you know. Well, and if you cannot find it, and I really wanted it, so yeah, the thing here too became, you know, like, well, making one yourself. Yeah, that's a quote. I put them in kind of categories. I took pictures, you know, and I put his lyrics next to it. And in that sense, I made a big book, you know, with all of his lyrics, which again was very important to me. I don't listen to music when it's yeah, just a good beat. Don't get me wrong, we all love, I think, a song with a good beat, and that's fine. But this for me is music. It talks about something that's very important in the community then, and his lyrics still today are so relevant. So even with this, you know, I made one myself. And then I was thinking, because his lyrics have so much meaning, one small part of a lyric can say a lot. So I was thinking, well, I could work that in a deck, right? So I searched for art online, and I don't know if you can see them properly with the book, but let me try. So yes, I took parts of his lyrics, and I found some cool art styles that people made. This is why this deck is not for sale. This is really just for me. And it's really about that, whether I just use this word or I will tap that back to the complete lyric, you know. For example, this one, it says, you know, in life I know there's lots of grief, but your love is my relief. Well, this is a very cute one. But this one again, your mind is confused with confusion. So all these parts, you know, there's not one that's not. These are all parts of his song, of his lyrics, of his poetry, of his music, you know. And every time I thought about that, when I really think about a certain line or a certain song, you know, that has so much meaning, it kept popping back in my head like, oh, that would be great as an oracle keyword, right? Or oracle sentence. And again, I knew I was not going to get it by looking on the internet. So again, I thought, well, why not do it myself then? Again, it's not for sale because that's not the point. I think Miss Kelly in her tag said it best, you know. When you make a deck, you make it for yourself. Of course, when people love it, and especially if you're gonna go about it, that you want to sell it, that's great. But I think to get the most authentic kind of deck, it just needs to be a deck for you. And in this case, that's definitely the case because, again, not planning on selling it. Not that I could because, again, not my art. Bob Marley itself, you know, is a trademark. The same with the book. This one was for me. I let that be printed and I let that be hardbound, you know, in a sense. That was for me. That was something that I wanted to have when I want to just read his lyrics. I love to listen to his music, but there are days that I just want to read it. So yeah, this one is absolutely irreplaceable for me. The way I use it, well, I always joke with a friend of mine when it comes to people that have a soul deck every other month, but this touches my soul. I don't know the concept of a soul deck, if that's out there. I think, again, Miss Kelly said it best, I think in another one that she said 10 pieces of my soul or something. But this one touches my soul on a deep and profound level because, again, the way in the state I was when I found this music and how that led me on my path, how that comforted me, how that made me strong, yeah, it's very important to me. So again, this one is absolutely irreplaceable. They can come out tomorrow with a deck that comes from the Marley company, and I might buy it. Don't get me wrong, I might buy it, but I think because I put my own soul in this also, you know, and really make that come to life to what I wanted. This one absolutely irreplaceable. Yeah, there's nothing out there that will ever be able, to replace this. So again, that is my, my Bob Marley Oracle, I call it. It's that simple, you know. Two that go a little bit hand in hand with that are these. Even though I've never really been a lover of only major only decks. Because I always seem to miss that balance with the minor arcana. In combination, even though I already put it away, in combination with my Bob Marley, I, for example, love to use this one. That one was the Reggae Tarot. Yeah, there are a few other cards there. Because we go further than Bob Marley here. It's about, well, all these great artists, you know, that really talk and put a light on a spotlight on the injustice done to the Black community, you know, whether that was in Jamaica or Africa or even in the United States. They were never afraid to tell us about it, right, in their songs. I'm sorry, my cat. Mimi. These again, you know, they're irreplaceable because that energy around it, that spiritual energy for me, you know, I cannot get that in another deck. These are some of the songs that till today, when I might feel a little bit weaker than I do any other day, that give that power back to me, you know, that make me feel I can handle anything. And then because I work with cannabis in a spiritual manner, and again, that might not be for everybody, I have this one, but I also, again, have one that I made myself. In my collection video, I talked about, because in all transparency, I took the set of keywords from, oh my God, don't make me forget again, because I forgot it in my video. I needed to put it in the screen. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I do it again. I'm forgetting it. I will put it back in the screen again. But because I work in an emotional kind of growth way, also with cannabis, and really facing my own emotions, I work with cannabis. And there was this oracle deck that I didn't really like, at least art. No disrespect to the creator, it was just not going to work for me. But because of the emotional set of keywords, which I really loved, I was thinking about it, but then I decided to make my own, you know? And I did that with photography of the cannabis plants. Again, it's not for sale because I took these pictures online. I don't even know if there's a copyright on it. But again, it was for me. I made this deck so that I could work with it. That I could work with this set of keywords, you know, and really face certain issues. Because again, I put my, well, blood, sweat and tears in the making of this deck. It's something, the way I use it, plus the fact that I made it myself, you know, it's irreplaceable. Because I could replace this in that sense speaking with the original deck, and I would probably not work with it. Because that art, you know, is not me. So by redoing it in that sense, because again, where credit, give credit where credit is due, right? The set of keywords in this deck, again, I took from another deck. But yeah, in that sense, again, this deck is absolutely irreplaceable to me. In that same time that I was looking at that one, I also found, because from the same creators as Roots Reggae Tarot, I found a Cannabis Oracle, which is not an oracle, it's majors only again. And because I work with cannabis in that spiritual way, I loved having this deck. Even though it was only a majors only, it was not really something I normally would go to, because then I feel like I don't have enough cards, you know. But for the way I'm now using it, it's enough. I can do a one pull and I can work with other decks, you know, like this and like Bob Marley and my own Cannabis Oracle, you know, to fill that in. Because all of these decks work in a certain way, which again makes them, like the text says, irreplaceable decks to me. So yeah, this one, like I said, is for sale on Etsy, Cannabis Oracle. But yeah, some of them, like I said, like the Bob Marley and this one then too, you know, are irreplaceable because, well, I made them to fit my own needs in that sense. So yes, yeah, like I said, this one, my own Cannabis Oracle, definitely irreplaceable. It will not, yeah, work any other way. Yeah, sorry. Cat problem. So yes, I was finishing with this one. So yeah, this one definitely again an irreplaceable deck. Because I did this tag, I wanted to address another deck I made, but yeah, I didn't. Let me put this one here for a second. I put some pictures out there on Instagram already, but yeah, because it's not completely done yet, I'm gonna give a sneak peek of some of the cards, but not all, because it's my Alkebulan Tarot that I'm still working on, and this one, when it's really done, will be released for purchase to the public. But this deck came to be, I'm not going to show all the cards, I'm sorry. These are my backings for now. This deck came to be out of a need. Initially, I didn't make this deck to sell, you know. It was again to fill a need. And I always let myself be inspired, you know. For example, the few cards I wanted to show, yeah, came a little bit of inspiration from this book. This one, it has a lot of African art. It's only African art from all parts of Africa. And again, it tells a little bit about what kind of region it came from, you know, in the sense of what certain items were used for. And again, this is a beautiful book. It's like a coffee table book in the sense of it's huge, you know. But again, I was inspired when I saw some, for example, let me stop at this page, you know, of the masks. When I was working on my deck, I have people in the majors and in the minors, but for the courts, because I knew I already wanted to do it as a family thing, so daughter, son, mother, father, because, well, especially in Africa, the family is central, you know. So, for example, this one will be the daughter mask. In this case, it was the staffs, you know. The mask will come back in the axes, the drums, and the cowrie shells, in a different way, but the mask stays the same, because I wanted that African kind of art style getting also back in the deck. I wanted traditional Africans, I wanted modern Africans, whether they come from Africa or because of the slave trade, you know, all these generations, now we're living here, you know, me in the Netherlands, whether that's in the UK, America, you know, in that sense. But the courts, I wanted to go back, well, to a different time, right? So these are the daughters that in my deck. These are the sons. I hope you can see the mask. This one is, in this one, a little bit smaller, and other she's a little bit bigger, but the drum was big. So this one is the mother. And I use this mask for the father. So, like I said, when you're making a deck, it's about inspiration, where you get your inspiration from. Well, maybe you feel, see, they still need to come a little bit down. So like I said, there are still some small things to work out on. Where you see modern / tradition here, you see a more traditional one here, you know, more modern. Here we go back for traditional / modern. So Yoruba tradition, Egypt, because what I wanted to really want to come through my deck, it was again, yeah, because of a song of Bob Marley, where he says, Africa unite. It doesn't matter, not that it's not important for your own path, of course, don't get me wrong, but whether that's a Yoruba tradition out of Nigeria, or you come from Ethiopia, or when I put that back on myself, I don't know where my ancestors came from, you know, because of the slave trade, we were, my ancestors were transported, yeah, through to South America. And they lived in the Caribbean and in Guyana and in Suriname, and we ended up in the Netherlands. So what I wanted was not to only focus on, oh, this is Yoruba and this is Rastafarian and this is this, you know what I mean? I wanted a very diverse African deck. Don't want to be focused too much on, oh, this is a Rastafarian and this lady is from the Yoruba tradition. I want a united Africa, because no matter whether we are in Africa or outside of Africa, yeah, that is still part of our heritage. We can be modern and doing and living our lives in that way, you know. But again, at the end of the day, that line will go back to Africa. And I think that was important for me, because again, I don't even know where my ancestors came from. So yeah, again, this one is going to be very, well, maybe all over the place, but I'm really enjoying it, and I had a lot of positive feedback. So I hope by the time it's done, yeah, you will all enjoy this one too. But already now, even though that I'm working on it to make it, yeah, more perfect, you know, for the public, for me, this now already is an irreplaceable deck. Whether it will sell or I will never get funded, you know, it doesn't matter. In all honesty, it doesn't matter. I made this deck for me. It works for me. There's nothing in my collection. I have definitely some beautiful black decks, you know, black creators or Afrocentric in origin, you know. It doesn't matter. This one is irreplaceable to me. Nothing can come on the market, whether that's now in 1 year or 10 years, yeah, that will kick this deck out of its place. It's just not possible because, again, I made this deck to fill my needs. And I love the fact that I got so much positive feedback on it that I'm actually now considering and really working on making this deck available to the public. But again, at the end of the day, you know, this was made to fill a need for me. And I hope still, you know, that you will all enjoy it once it comes. But till that time, you know, yeah, it doesn't matter. This one, absolutely irreplaceable. Yeah, this one will go nowhere. It's just not possible. And yes, like the text says, irreplaceable. Another one, it was actually one of the first ones I actually made myself. Let me go and give myself a little bit of space because these books are ginormous. Okay, let me put this away here. Sorry. So this one actually was one of the first decks I made. I think I showed it in one of my collection videos. And it was a very home printed deck because I showed it before, the stains on the back, you know. Because it was about the Adinkra symbolism. What that means, the name, the rough translation, the keywords, you know, what it stands for, how it came to be, very small, so that I didn't have to use a guidebook, you know. I could just work with the deck like it is. And like I said, you know, some of the printing is done absolutely horrible. It doesn't matter. I love this deck. I thought about letting it be printed in one of the places that I now found, you know, and I cannot do it. I know that deck will come out beautifully, you know, but there's something now about the energy of this deck, the way I work with it, what I put into it, you know, it's just not replaceable. It's irreplaceable. There are decks out there that have some Adinkra symbology, and I think we're talking about 52 cards, if I'm not mistaken. But I already am at 63 symbols, even though 2 were the same kind of meaning. So I put them together. And I feel like if I would buy that deck, I feel like I'm incomplete. I know that's maybe a little bit OCD, and so be it. But I ended up not buying that deck and making my own, even though that deck physically, aesthetically is way more beautiful. But yeah, this one, it's irreplaceable. I cannot now go out and buy that deck, yeah, and be satisfied. It's just not gonna happen. It has stains, it's not perfect, it's absolutely irreplaceable. The energy around it, and this deck actually also came to be about a book. Yes, this is the English version. African Symbols. It's an old one. I found it years and years and years ago in a secondhand store, you know. It talks about, well, all African symbolism again, some of the art pieces, or again, very, what that means, what that stood for in that place in Africa. Because here they talk about Western Africa, Northern Africa. So they split it a little bit up, and it's by no means an extensive version. But here, yeah, I think here, see, I was trying to actually draw them, which again, I'm not great at. And then my writing is horrendous. So this is how it came to be, that I needed to print it. Yeah, see, this section was about West African symbolism. Yeah, and it was about the Adinkra symbols. And then I was looking at them, and I think I had about 30 or 40 here, if I'm not mistaken. And I did a search online, you know, about them, what they meant, what they stood for, how they came to be. And I really fell in love with them. And this is, yeah, how the thought came to my mind, you know. Like, because this, I don't think I even have in mind. There are still some out there that I would like to make. And again, even if that's horrendous printing, I'm still going to do it. It will fit my needs in that sense, you know. But there are a lot out there, and yeah, this was the whole section that really inspired me. Just a little tidbit, but yeah, it brought the idea of yeah, making my deck. And yeah, no matter how bad the printing is, yeah, it's something that's literally irreplaceable. There are decks out there that I could buy. I could actually recreate this deck and let that be printed, like, for example, one of these, you know. And that's beautiful, but at the same time, I don't want it. It became something special, you know. So even though that one is a homemade too, but definitely irreplaceable. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, well, let's do the last one that I made myself. It's in a combination, because I showed these two in a collection video in the way I used them. This one was the Fallen Angels, and I don't know the name, I'm sorry. I might put it down in the description again. But it's about the 72 angels, in that connection with Solomon. What was important to me, because I made the 44 seals of Solomon. I put the, well, title, you know, first pentacle of Mercury, what that means, and the seal itself. And I have one of the grimoires, the Greater Key of Solomon, which really goes also in deep, you know, about the meaning, and in the back even some prayers and stuff like that. So I don't have a guidebook, but this for me, you know, like I said, the Greater Keys of Solomon, a grimoire of Solomon, yeah, will work as that, right? But yeah, I let them be printed in that sense. I printed them at home because, again, very basic. These were my first decks that I did, and I did them at home. But yeah, they work for me in a very, very specific way. There is nothing out there that can replace this. Even though, again, like I said, very, very basic. There is nothing in that sense special about it, you know. And yeah, the same goes for this, because this one, mass market, Fallen Angels Oracle, you know. But because I work with it in a very yeah, specific way, in a specific, well, it's not even a spread, because I don't read in positions, but I read as a story, you know. But yeah, even in, well, let's call it a spread, right? Even in a spread, multiple cards and stuff, you know, these two always work together. There is nothing else out there that could replace this. It's the energy. I said it last time. I love the earthy tones, you know. I love the style, a little bit, well, gothic, which is not always my style, depending on how far we go in that, you know. But this one, oh, it definitely is. I love it. So yeah, the Fallen Angels, and then I combined it with a deck that I made myself. But these two, because the way they work in my reading, the use I have for that reading, they're irreplaceable. There is nothing out there, you know, that can fit that energy in the way that this deck does that. So this one definitely, again, irreplaceable. So yeah, that was the, again, Fallen Angel Oracle. And yeah, like I said, I mentioned the book for the seals. This one I use in combination with this one. There is a guidebook with the deck, you know, but here it talks about every angel. Yeah, it gives even a seal, which we don't find again in the deck. And because I work with the seals of Solomon, I do love to work with these kind of seals, what they stand for, how to interpret that, again going back to the deck. So yeah, this set, yeah, is something absolutely irreplaceable. There's nothing out there that, yeah, well, could replace that. Okay, two other ones, because they work in combination in the sense they fit the same kind of need, and yet they're very different in my opinion. The first one is my Hoodoo Tarot. This is irreplaceable. I bought another one later on that has, well, it's a Rootworker's deck. Let me just say that directly, you know. but it still could not replace this, and vice versa, you know. The Hoodoo Tarot, very specific, of course. It's the practice I'm practicing. So the fact that this came out mass market was, well, almost jaw-dropping, right? I think a lot of people will agree with me, like, what? The stories behind it, you know, many I knew, some I didn't even know. So this deck, the way it's been used, very ancestral, the energy behind it, the even vibrations I'm getting from this, you know, it's like the moment I get that out, yeah, I'm losing my words, because when you get this out, yeah, ancestors start to whisper. They have stuff to say, you know, and they want to do it through these decks. I think because not only we see ourselves back in these decks, but they see themselves back, whether they're here sitting next to me or not, you know. These are my ancestors. This is the family that I see in pictures, even family members that I never met. So yeah, the Hoodoo Tarot, absolutely irreplaceable. There is nothing out there, yeah, that can replace this deck. And then because we were talking, like, well, we say it right, it's irreplaceable. But then I got the Antique Blacks, a Rootworker's Tarot. Well, it doesn't say that here, but it says that in the on the box itself. Yeah, apparently not here, but on the box. And I don't have the box because it's a little bit of a weird box, if I'm honest. It's split in two, so I don't like that. But it's in here. So yeah, these are the backs. They have the gilding with the name. Beautiful matte finish. So yeah. The major arcana doesn't even come close to what we would know in tarot as the major arcana. It's very, very different. We have here number 4, which would be the Emperor, and here we have the two-headed Doctor. Number 6 would be the Lovers. We have the Church House. 17 would be the Starlight, Mastery. Lights are wands in this case, the fire element. The major arcana, sometimes you see the overlap between the RWS meanings and what the card might mean. Not all the time, but sometimes you can see it. But the majors are very, very different. As the Fool, we have here the Rootworker. Isn't that beautiful? For the Chariot, we have the Graveyard. And these are all subject in a Rootworker's journey. None of these names that we see here in the majors, you know, would scratch any Rootworker's head like, I don't know what that means. So this one, definitely very Hoodoo, I think, overall. But this one, yeah, it's a different dimension. I don't know how else to explain it. Even though they have the same kind of subject, for me they read so very differently, you know. Where this one goes maybe even more ancestral to me. This one I love to use in my workings, you know. But even beside that, to be honest. But yeah, if I really need to categorize them in that sense, this is number 14, which would be Temperance. We talk here about money drawing. So yeah, it's the Rootworker's deck. When I found this, I was so happy because it's not really advertised that much. I think there's one walkthrough on YouTube, at least the last time I checked, from a sister who showed some cards. So yeah, it's not even a well-known deck, which I don't understand. Well, maybe because, well, certain things we need to just hush about, right? And I think you will find the deck, you will find this video when you are in need of this deck. But yeah, this one, absolutely irreplaceable. There is nothing out there, and even if something comes out there, you know, this will not be replaced. It's just not possible. The energy, the vibrations, the ancestral feeling, the history, you know, it's just not possible. It will not be replaced. we have a Justice card, but by us, yeah, it's in number 20. So not in number 11 or 8, depending on which deck you have, you know. Here too, you have the grandfathers, the grandmothers, and now I'm drawing a blank. Here, number 1, the magician. I mean, isn't this the coolest, well, whether you want to call it a magician or not, this is the man at the crossroads. So I'm seeing Lekba. I'm seeing Papa Lekba here, and I think this is the coolest one ever. I mean, he is so tough. I love it. Number 5, as the Hierophant, we have the Boo Hack. I mean, this deck is amazing. The first time I laid eyes on it, you know, and I couldn't even see all the cards. I didn't even think twice. I pressed buy so fast. The Wheel of Fortune, or the wheel, you know, here is the River. Number 15, which normally is Devil, we have Love Drawing. Number 3, the Empress, the Preacher Man. This one actually makes me laugh because there's a song of Bob Marley where he says Preacher Man, and every time I see this card, yeah, I'm finishing that lyric of him. But yes, let's continue. Beautiful deck, and again, absolutely irreplaceable in my practice. Yeah, again, there's nothing out there that will be able, you know, to take that place of this deck. So yes, let me see. Okay, then there are 3. They're absolutely irreplaceable, but also in the combination of, well, first of all, of course, Dust to Onyx. I got the smaller version. 1 second. I'm sorry, Mimi. Waarom ben je aan het complainen? I'm sorry. So, yes. The Dust to Onyx. I got the smaller version. I will probably get the bigger version at some point, but for now, I think it's okay. And I combine them every month. Every month I have a focus reading, and every month, multiple times a month, but at least at the beginning of the month, an ancestor reading with a focus and a guidance. And these 3 decks are absolutely irreplaceable. The energy that I get from them, the reading that I get from them, this is so ancestral to me. Courtney Alexander did an amazing job with these decks, with the Dust to Onyx deck, you know. There's nothing else out there. I can make my own decks and they can fill a certain place, but in all honesty, again, give credit where credit is due, I will never reach this. Might be in the future, but for now, at least, as far as I can see, I will not reach that. So yeah, the Dust to Onyx is absolutely irreplaceable. If I would lose this, I might actually cry buckets and buckets of tears. Or if this would get... I don't even want to go, let me zip my lip. I don't even want to put that out there, you know. But absolutely irreplaceable. The deep ancestral feeling that comes with this is something I'm never going to get in another deck. This is why I also want the bigger version. The Weavers, I was a little bit, well, not sure, because it's not like, is it really specific African... Afrocentric then in that sense, and it's not. And yet again, there is this deep ancestral feeling with this deck. I don't work with this deck without the book. I feel like the book belongs with the deck. You cannot separate them. And yeah, what this deck brings, no other deck brings. It's just not possible. So again, this one is the Weaver's Oracle from Carolyn something. I will put it in the description. I mean, look at her. I hope you can see it. Isn't she absolutely amazing? I mean, yeah, wow. So yes, the Weavers, that the energy, you know, of these women, the power of these women. Let me stop with this one. I'm sorry, Mimi. The power with these women is something that no other deck can bring in that same amount, in that same energy. So again, an irreplaceable deck. And then the next one, because I do love me some religious decks, because, well, I really work with them. But yeah, this one. The Mysteries of the Black Madonna. Oh my God. This is forever irreplaceable. I don't think that anything will ever come out even close to this. And I love them, these two, and this one, don't get me wrong, and this one. But these two communicate with each other. When I would do a reading, I would pick one card from this and I would pick one card from this. Because even those two, yeah, are so layered. There is so much coming forward, you know, that it might be overwhelming. But I take one of both, and then I will take multiple of the tarot, you know, the dust to onyx. And that first reading I will do with the dust to onyx. But my focus cards, one from this and one from this, they will stay with me at least a month. I will use other decks, you know, even this one, or my black antiques, you know. And again, I will go about it. I really go deep into that focus that they give me, because they're always so on point, even when I don't want to admit it, you know. They always guide me for that month, you know, focus on this, you know. And even if that month is over and I'm not done yet, I will not pull a new card. I really do want to, yeah, I don't believe in doing 60 readings in a month, yeah, and not working to actually fulfill those readings, you know, the advice that you're getting. Yeah, I don't play with my ancestors like that. If they tell me to focus on something, to learn something, yeah, I cannot stop working with it, yeah, unless I actually learn that lesson. So yeah, this, the Black Madonna and the Weavers, they're absolutely irreplaceable. It's not something that any other deck yeah, could do for me, you know. Oh, let me stop here. I like that one. So yes, these are definitely irreplaceable. I'm gonna make some space because they need to be put back in their baggie, and I will do that in a second, because I got two more and I'm gonna show them together. Yeah, because this is not the original box. So this one is the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot, and I got it in a very small box. This one is irreplaceable. I think I mentioned this one while Kelly of the Truth and Story did her tag live. With this one, I still need the book. I cannot do this one without the book. I need some insight, you know. I can look at it intuitively, but I always end at least with the book. But it's irreplaceable, for the system is different, you know. The culture, it's not something, you know, that there's nothing out there that will even come close to this. So yeah, this one is absolutely irreplaceable. And this one, Mimi, I'm so sorry guys, she's loud. This one is new. I got this like maybe a week ago or so, and yesterday I was talking to a friend, and she ordered the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot, and she was like, oh, what do you pair with it? Well, normally, because of the white borders and they like to talk with each other, I would actually pair, yeah, the one that I already showed, you know, my Adinkra one. And I let cards fly everywhere. 1 second, I'm sorry. No, because I love this deck. I don't want anything to happen with it. So normally I would pair my Adinkra symbol deck with the New Orleans Voodoo. I think they made a great combination, you know, they're chatty with each other. I mean, in all honesty, this one is a chatter. It almost chats with everything I put it next to. But because she asked me that, I was like, do I have nothing else that I paired with this before I got my Adinkra Oracle? I was thinking, and suddenly I was, oh, but wait, I got this one. And in my mind, the way I saw it, you know, I could directly see that they would pair together, and they actually do. So even though this is very new, I already kind of got a feeling, yeah, that it's gonna take a place, because the way it's made by Miss Neferatiti, if I say that correct, hopefully, it's already something very unique, in my opinion. There is nothing else out there, you know, like this. So in that case, it's already like I said, unique, right? But I didn't want to really put it in here yet in irreplaceable decks, because I just got it, you know. I'm still feeling it out in a sense, where am I gonna put this in my practice. But yeah, yesterday again, I found out that this combination is amazing. I did a reading to check it out, because I don't like only aesthetics. I mean, aesthetic wise, let me put them together, you know. Aesthetic wise, already they look beautiful, right? They fit with each other, but for me, they also need to chat right. So again, I did a reading with both of them, and I was amazed. My mind was blown. It was an amazing reading. Again, the aesthetics work, which is always a great plus. Yeah, it was something that sparkles. It was magic. My friends said something about they sing together, which they definitely do. So yeah, like I said, because this is new, I don't want to directly say, you know, because I don't know yet if it's going to be irreplaceable in this sense, in the sense that we talked about, you know. But because I'm kind of feeling it out, it's new, you know. But I do feel like, yeah, it might go there. With what I've seen so far, I did a few readings with it. And like I said yesterday with the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. I mean, look at that. Healing Thoughts with Oshun. I mean, do I need to say more? So yes, again, I didn't really want to qualify it like that yet, but yeah, it would be a surprise, because I got this feeling about where this deck is going. So again, I do believe that this one will eventually, you know, fill a space that will be, you know, irreplaceable. And yeah, the fact that they are so beautiful together is only icing on the cake. And yeah, these were my last ones. And I really enjoyed doing this tag. I knew I would. Like I said, I didn't have a channel yet, and it was the only tag out there that I was like, oh, beep. Let me bleep that out. Oh, I wish I had a channel, right? And even though it's an older tag, hey, I can do what I want. Yeah, again, I really wanted to do this tag because I thought it was a fabulous tag, you know. The way she explained it in the beginning. Yeah, it's not about favorites. In all honesty, there are definitely some in here that would definitely also be my favorites. But I think the way she said it about, yeah, tarot is tarot is tarot. We might get that extra layer when... Let me get one. When we get a normal tarot deck, and again, I don't think I have a normal tarot deck in this bunch. But yeah, if it's really RW based, then except for again the majors, then in this one, yeah, this is not a good example. So yeah, the Page of Pentacles is the Page of Pentacles is the Page of Pentacles, and the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Swords. And I think that she made a great point, because even if the RWS is your base or your foundation in that sense, you know, we might get a different Two of Wands, and art might give us intuitively something extra we still have that basic, like the Two of Swords meaning behind it, right? So yeah, certain decks, they might be favorites and it might suck, you know, when you don't have them anymore, but something else could replace it, right? That was her, that was the way she put it. And again, I definitely agree. And yeah, I have it with all these decks. In all honesty, there were more that I feel like are irreplaceable in my practice. But yeah, even now, I don't even know how long I'm already rambling, you know. So I wanted to try to at least keep it a little bit hopefully within an hour because I ramble too much. So yeah, these were the ones that really stood out in that sense. And again, there are many more, I think, that I could put here. But yeah, I kept it with these. So yeah, I'm really, really happy that I finally could do this tag. That was something I really wanted to do. And I'm glad I got that checked off my wish list. I want to thank you all for watching. If you kept watching all this time, yeah, I'm very happy. And I want to thank Miss Kelly of the Truth and Story, because I don't think she comes out a lot, yeah, with tags, but when she does, yeah, she nails them, right? She nails them. They're unique, like she is. Anyway, again, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon in the next video. Okay, hope you have a fabulous day. See you soon. Bye-bye.